AI will replace most developers soon. So we both are quite keeping eye on how AI is progressing, both at GameReady and in our personal projects and stuff. So what do you think about that? What do you
Okay,
think about AI
I will start commenting on that with a bit of just a small background check, let's say. Okay, so I actually a few days ago I compared my stats of production of code compared to traditional senior developer, software engineer. Okay, so actually in the past 6 months, even while I do management, which, well, I'm a CEO, I'm managing mainly, so but I still do a lot of vibe coding. Okay, so actually I have produced 100 times more lines of code than traditional senior developer. Okay, traditional. I'm not saying nowadays. Nowadays, everyone produces more lines of code. But just as a benchmark, I said 100. So for each line of code traditionally made by per unit of time per senior developer, I make 100 times more, which is insane to think about that when we compare it, right? So of course, much of it is junk because vibe coding produces a lot of steps that you need to remake. So like there's 1,000 lines of code written and they're like, that's not what I want. Remake that now. Okay, so it's trash. It's bloated. Let's say 90% of that is bloated. So you're left with still factor of 10x the amount of code, right? So I do a lot of coding. I do a lot of it. And I also come from traditional software engineering background, and I have been doing that for over a decade. And I have quite a good point of view on it because I'm very, very, very hardcore in that field since day one. Okay, so I've been doing AI actually far before LLMs got on. So will it replace humans? Yes and no, because it will replace some part of what we're doing, and it's already there. I mean, it's already slowly replacing more and more and more types of our activity, and this is completely fine because it lets us deal with the more interesting stuff, in my opinion. Now, yeah, there are people who very much enjoy writing code manually, and they enjoy it much more than prompting. Sure. Okay, but it's not about what you enjoy, it's more about what you have to do if you want to be producing value, right? So value production algorithm changes. It means that we need to adapt the ways we develop. So if we are left with, let's say, only 10% of the responsibility and 90% is done by AI, cool. Then it means that you can work the same amount of hours, but produce 10 times more value if you collaborate with AI, which means that studios can produce better games. They can spend the same amount of time to produce actually much higher value games, and software in general, right? And also more games. And what's the most exciting for me is that so far producing a game takes years. It's a giant project. And very often it's just too long for the team to even keep being a team. The team can just collapse in the middle of the duration. And so many games didn't survive until the release because the team just couldn't make it together. They couldn't continue because time passes and priorities change. So with shorter iteration times because of AI, you can actually produce very fun games in much less time because of that, which actually means that many more teams will survive until the end. And that is pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna see more cooler games.
Yep.
So I think
also bad games.
Oh, of course. We'll just see more games. That's just statistics of it, right? The more games produced means more bad games and more good games. It's just, it's that famous phrase that like 90% of everything is crap. So like if we produce more games, more of them will be good and more of them will be bad, obviously.
Yep. So you can produce crap faster, you learn from it, then you produce a good game.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I feel like One thing that I think people really miss here is that producing crap is a way to get to producing something good. Because a lot of people kind of feel, it feels to me like a lot of people try to kind of put it into categories where it's like, okay, this developer produced crap, I'm not gonna look at anything of theirs ever again. But then if they happen to encounter of the same developer the sixth game and not the second game, all of a sudden they love that game and they wonder why no one is genius like this person. Because part of creative process is just producing a lot of bad stuff, which teaches you how to produce a good stuff.
Yeah, the person was a failure for 7-8 years just to wake up into an overnight success.
Exactly, it's an overnight success all over again. So I would like to focus on the fact that we program because we want to make games. We don't do the opposite, right? We don't program and just happen to make games. Most of us, that is. So
it's not only about programmers, by the way. It's also artists. So it's the same picture for all the roles, really. For audio production, for video production, for art, digital art, 3D, 2D. It's just much of the work we do today in all those fields is going to be replaced by AI. Not the people, but the tasks, which leaves us with a different set of responsibilities. So our roles shift. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, let's be real here. There is so much busy work we have to do in game development. Like good 70 to 80%, I would even hedge to bet, is a work that no one really wants to do. Like, I don't need to write basic AI for the 50th time for the same game or similar game. It's like, we really can outsource this all to AI now, because this code has been written thousands of times by millions of different people. So if we can, we should really focus on how do we get to making games faster. Like, the faster we can produce the games, the less time we have to spend by doing stuff that is boring and how everyone has done before, the faster we can get to producing good games.